Let's queer up trans rights. At least 2 transgender women will compete for the title of Miss Universe. At least 2 transgender women will compete in Miss Universe 2023. Marina Machete became the first transgender woman to win Miss Portugal last week. She will join Ricky Valerie Collet on stage, who became the first transgender woman to win Miss Netherlands in July. The 2 will compete for the Miss Universe crown on November 18th in El Salvador. The event will feature a total of 90 women from around the world. Both Machete and Collet have a huge fan base that motivates and supports them. Machete is a 28-year-old flight attendant, while Collet is a Dutch Moluccan model and actress who has previously competed on the TV series called Holland's Next Top Model. Miss Universe began allowing trans women to compete in 2012, and in 2018, Angela Ponce became the first trans woman to do so after she was crowned Miss Spain. In 2021, Catalina Enriquez became the first trans woman to compete in the Miss USA pageant after she was crowned Miss Nevada, though she did not go on that year to compete in the year's Miss Universe pageant. In February, Daniela Arroyo Gonzalez became the first trans woman to compete in Miss Universe Puerto Rico, where she finished with the top 10 finalists. Beautiful women all. I'm so excited that the acceptance of the trans community is happening at the universal, the global level, regardless of what we are doing here in the United States. I love to see that this is happening.
Or in our state capital.
Yeah.
Absolutely stunning. I mean, both of those women are just truly beautiful. I see some of their, not forefathers, it would be their foremothers, like the women who've gone before them as far as trans women are concerned, really, smiling, potentially even kicking up their heels or rolling over in their graves at the excitement with this news and them being able to compete at such a high level as trans women. So kudos to them.
This is great. My question is, Al, I know you've been to several countries over the course of your life. Have you been to El Salvador? And
I have.
What's the vibe like there? Like, do these contestants need to be worried if they leave the contestant zone?
That's a terrific question, because in general, El Salvador is not a great place for LGBT. And to be honest with you, I'm surprised that Miss Universe is being held in El Salvador. It's just a representation of how fanatical, in a positive way, that Latin America, Central and South America, is about the Miss Universe pageants. I was in Colombia over the summer, and I rode one of the big floats next to Miss Colombia, and it was a mob scene. She was the most important celebrity in the parade. People screamed for 4 hours for her, and something in Central and South America, they're very fanatical. So I'm a little surprised in El Salvador, but to your question, yes, they're not going to be widely accepted. It'll be interesting to see in the live broadcast what happens with the predominant. There's a big international consistency of audience member, but there's going to be a very significant El Salvador presence, and it'll be interesting to see their reaction.
I want us to replicate that. How do we capture that and bring some of that over back over to the U.S.?
Yeah,
are you talking about capturing women and bringing them to
No.
Oh my God.
No, that energy, John, that mindset.
Really quick first, congratulations to Miss Portugal and to Miss Netherlands. I love it because women are women. Trans women are women. And the pageant is saying that. One of the things that I think is amazing about this issue is that one of the reasons that this is happening is because of the seat at the table. Representation and having access to representation and having a seat at the table begins to change things. When a business, especially in ownership of business and leadership of major roles in business, have the opportunity to promote minority representation, good things happen for their business, which is why so many businesses like Disney, for example, promote diversity. When they open the doors for women, things improve. When they open the doors for Black people, things improve. When they open the doors for Latino people, things improve. When they open the door for trans people, things improve. The Miss Universe pageant is owned by a trans billionaire. Wow. Now, It's a unique situation,
No.
but think about it from the standpoint of business ownership of the pageant, opening the door for representation, and this is what happens. And bravo to that. One last quick thought that I think is so interesting. In the trans community, the argument by the most radical evangelicals and GOP is that trans women have an unfair advantage in sports. Over and over and over, they yell it and yell it and yell it. I'm kind of curious how they're going to say Miss Portugal and Miss Netherlands has an unfair advantage at the Miss Universe pageant. We will be listening closely at your next words leading up to the November Miss Universe pageant. But we congratulate both of you. All of us in America and in the LGBTQ community are proud of the representation you'll bring to El Salvador.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And we begin by queering up the worldview. Hunky politician could become Greece's first LGBTQ plus prime minister. Stefanos Kasselakis is a 35-year-old entrepreneur and politician from Mauritius, Greece, and wants to shake up LGBTQ plus rights in the ancient home of democracy. Over the weekend, he was elected the leader of Greece's main left-wing opposition party. This puts him in prime position to become prime minister in the next general election. Kasselakis has a bachelor's degree in finance and international relations from the University of Pennsylvania and volunteered on Biden campaigns. An out gay man and first openly queer leader of a political party in Greece, he's been with his partner for 4 years and is making marriage equality and having children a top priority. He and his partner are working to become parents through surrogacy in Greece. And it seems like every few weeks we're doing a story about another head of state is LGBTQ+.
Yeah.
We've seen it in several, in all parts of the world. We're seeing it everywhere but Antarctica, and we all know the penguins are gay there anyway. So, but this is a really good step, and it makes me feel good because Greece has certainly had its problems over the last 15 or 20 years. But to see them hopefully taking a step in the right direction, or should I say the left direction?
That sounds good. Yasu Stephanos, a genuine in the flesh Greek god. Wow.
Well,
That's all.
All I can say was he was hot. But yeah, I definitely believe that representation counts. And I think it's important that he's going to be there, and the fact that he's going to start a family. That's one of my big things, trying to have children.
Yeah.
So, hey, go him.
Yeah. I mean, here in America, we talked about Indiana last time with the chicken farmer. He's much more attractive, and we wish you the very best. So,
oh yeah,
keep it going.
The idiot from Muncie. Yeah.
Mauritius's highest court has decriminalized gay sex, saying the ban reflected colonial-era values rather than indigenous values. The ruling comes at a time of rising homophobia and tougher anti-gay laws in some African states. British colonialists first criminalized sodomy in 1898, but the law has not been enforced in recent years. Mauritius is a tiny island state east of Madagascar, and the case was brought by Abdul Ridwan Firas Asik, who argued the offense of sodomy breached his basic rights, including the right to liberty. The Supreme Court said the law did not reflect any quote, reflect any indigenous Mauritian values, but was inherited as part of our colonial history from Britain, end quote. The ruling means people can no longer be arrested for having gay sex.
Let's clear a Pell. Nebraska lawmaker says patients report pharmacists wrongly denying gender-affirming medications. A Nebraska lawmaker says her office has been contacted by families who have reported some pharmacists are wrongly refusing to fill prescriptions for gender-affirming medications for their transgender children, citing a new state law limiting the ability of anyone under 19 to get puberty blockers or gender-affirming hormones. Omaha Senator Megan Hunt sent a letter to the state chief medical officer, Dr. Timothy Tesmer, asking him to inform all Nebraska healthcare professionals, including pharmacists, that the new law specifically allows minors who were already receiving those medications before the law took effect to continue that treatment. The law, often referred to by its bill name of LB 574, also bans gender-affirming surgeries for trans youth under 19. It took effect at the beginning of the month. Tessner, who was appointed to the post, to the post weeks ago by Republican Governor Jim Pillen, released a set of emergency regulations until permanent regulations could be adopted, which is expected sometime after a public hearing is held on the final draft in late November. Those emergency regulations came after families, doctors, and some lawmakers said they had largely gotten no response from the department when the regulations would be in place. However, Hunt's letter shows that parents and patients are still being denied prescriptions essential for care that were prescribed before October 1st, 2023. Well, I just think it gives people an excuse. You know, you have this new law now, and it's like they don't want to get into the specifics of it. It's almost like, well, the new law says, and that, you know, there's almost like a grandfathering in for youth that have already been prescribed, so it shouldn't be affecting them. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's, you know, I think anything to give people the excuse to give us trans community a hard time. I mean, you know.
Well, although I think it's deplorable that the law is even in effect, you have to understand from the pharmacist's point of view that if they give the prescription to the wrong person, they could lose their license. Yeah. So the thing is to get the information out there so that the pharmacist can give the right people the information.
And me being the devil advocate, I'm going to say, well, doesn't the pharmacist have a record of the prescriptions that were dispersed prior to the new law?
But they might not know that that's part
the worst
of the
part
deal.
of it to me is the fact that people are writing laws that are against the medical community's advice, that are against what medical professionals do. And I wish they would just get rid of all these stupid laws and let these discussions be between a patient and their provider, and people mind their business. Why are you in other people's doctor's appointments? Telling what they can get and what they cannot get, and telling medical providers, for pharmacists, anyone, what kind of job they can do.
You notice
You're not trained in that.
They never
You're
say
just
that
a politician.
Viagra is going to be banned.
Thankfully. Most of them probably need a lot more Viagra.
Yes, they do.
Well, and as I recall, we've covered Senator Megan Hunt of Omaha before on the show. She's the mother of a teenage trans son. And I think Nebraskans are lucky to have such a dedicated advocate looking out for them. So keep it up, please.
Yeah.
These laws need to be based off of medical facts and not of your religious bias, and that is the issue. We're not all the same religion, and at some point we're going to realize that and go by that. Maybe not soon. Maybe by the time I become an adult. And
well, you know,
your guys' age.
Freedom of religion also means freedom from religion.
Exactly, but they don't realize that. They're not acting on that. It's based off of a Bible that not everybody believes in, and it's insane. Let people do their thing medically. Good.
You don't have to have a. You don't have to have a transition. You don't have to have an abortion.
I don't want one.
No one is forcing you to have one.
Right.
But leave other people be.
I like when they say they don't understand it. It's like, you don't have to understand.
You don't have to understand.
That is not required. Has nothing to do with anything.
You don't have to understand anal polyps to know that they need
Exactly. And listen, it's quite interesting. The group that says less government want to control
the government.
Come on.
All in everybody's
business.
It's always been that way.
Hypocritical.
Yes.
All right, back to beauty.
Let's queer up entertainment. Queer actors and Rocky Horror Picture Showcase protest church that bought St. Louis Theater. Tivoli Theater in the Loop was one of a dwindling number of safe spaces to be openly queer, but its new owners have no interest in continuing the tradition. One Family Church has bought the property and doesn't intend to show movies with LGBTQ+ characters or themes. To protest the loss of their space to a bigoted organization, people plan to dress up as flamboyantly as possible and put their pride on full display in the protest in front of the theater tomorrow, October 6th at 6 p.m. It was once a haven for rockers' interactive screenings of Rocky Horror Picture Show and other queer theatrical offerings.
Keep watching the only television news in the world from our LGBTQ+ community and stay informed on everything that is important for and about our diverse LGBTQ+ community.